Hello and welcome to Middle Age Geeks. I'm one of your hosts, Daz, and I'm joined as always by my trusty co-host, Philly. And this week's movie is Mercy. So what we'll do is I'll go through a bit of the intro and setup to the movie, then we'll get Philly's general thoughts, and then we'll tear this thing asunder. Normally we try and do a spoiler-free section and then spoilers towards the end, but if you've seen the trailer, 95% of the movie is in the trailer, so it doesn't really matter, and no one's going to see this movie. So the basic setup then, Mercy is a 2026 sci-fi thriller starring Chris Pratt as a detective, LA detective. Chris Raven set in a near future where trials are run by artificial intelligence, and after being accused of murdering his wife, Chris wakes up strapped to a chair and must use digital evidence and his own wits to prove his innocence within 90 minutes. And Rebecca Ferguson plays the AI judge Maddox, who condemns him, and the film unfolds in real time, and he scrambles to uncover the truth and save themselves in what they describe this movie as a high-stakes courtroom drama. And I get an idea that what I just said is far more interesting than the movie itself. So, Philly, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I would say three things. It's definitely not as bad as I think some of the reviews just said. I don't think it's as bad as that. Second is just go and see, Minority Report instead. Just watch that instead. But I don't think it's as bad. But there was parts of it I enjoyed. I think the premise is pretty cool, and I do like the director's some of his other work, like Wanted and Night Watch. It's so silly, and it's
the word.
It really is. Yeah, it's so silly, and I don't really. As obviously I'm not going to give away the ending, but just his kind of line towards the end of almost what we've learned, about mistakes and this, that. It was like, really? Is that what we're finishing
technology
on? Yeah. I was like, is that the lesson we're supposed to have learned from this shite? But no, I mean, the actors that are in it I just feel they're so hamstrung at the fact that it is all, he's in his obviously room that you see on the trailer, but then everything else is pretty much found footage is what it is. It's all body cams and stuff like that. So you're not really getting a whole lot from your one Cali Reyes because all of it is just on that. Same with the other actors as well. They're these are really decent actors that are kind of being underused because of the camera angles that we get. We're just kind of seeing them from looking up with their chin while someone's carrying a phone and shit like that. But I don't think it's as bad. I think, and maybe what helps that is the fact that it is just an hour and 40 minutes long. You just breeze through it. I think maybe that's why it wasn't mercifully, it wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. What about you?
Yeah. This is one of those movies that thinks it's smart and topical and saying something important, and it's absolutely not. And yeah, I agree with you. The setup was kind of solid, like waking up strapped to a chair and been on trial for the murder of his wife, and you see all the kind of aspects surrounding that where it really, really looks like he's the guy who fucking did it, and it's that how is he going to prove his innocence? And it's quite intriguing for the first 30 minutes. It's kind of fast paced, and it's Chris Pratt strapped to a chair and he's doing his best. But then I just think it completely shat the bed when it just collapses under its own weight. And the fact that I think it pretends to be, like you said about Minority Report earlier, that it's a movie that pretends to be a bit about AI and surveillance and justice, and it says really nothing interesting at all. And I was thinking Minority Report comes to your mind, but all the things with satellites and cameras and phones and tapping, and just like Enemy of the State did that of it 30 fucking years ago. Just what's the AI component? Is just somebody's talking to in this room. It's just the AI angle seemed like it was just kind of a skin, and it's like a thinly veiled skin over a very silly kind of action movie that, I thought it was kind of fucking nonsense. What I liked it for, I'd seen the Rotten Tomato scores, but I was sitting in the cinema for about 30 minutes going, hey, I'm digging this, because it's so fast paced, and the body cam footage means it's not in the room with just Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson for most of it. But I do think that maybe a version of the script exists where it is more of just them in the room, a more cerebral conversation
Yeah,
about
yeah.
AI and justice and all that. But yeah, what do you think like about the kind of the world building and the premise in general? Did you dig it from the off?
No, I kind of did like the premise. I guess the whole thing about, is like you said, enemy to state, and it's having government and this mercy system having access to everything, all your messages, your phones, your phone messages, your whatever. You're constantly watched by with the government essentially. And yeah, the thing is that's nothing new. If you've seen a fucking Black Mirror, as you said, enemy to state. It's just there's nothing really like, oh my god, could you imagine? It's like, well, no, it's kind of happening already. Like this, like it's that kind of side of it's okay. But what I didn't like is this cost 60 million, and that chase, like the cars, that truck, the overhead shots of that truck that isn't actually there, like that looks so bad. Like it just there's some of that stuff where it's was like, fucking hell, where is the money going? All the money has gone into, I don't know, is it the obviously the actors' wages, but I don't know where the money really has been spent.
That's the thing with the visuals, because that overhead footage and all that kind of footage is from, surveillance or helicopter footage and all this kind of stuff that Rebecca Ferguson is tapping into. So you're getting to see that. And normally when you're showing an action set piece from that point of view of a CCTV camera or something, it doesn't need to be that good because you kind of get away with it. It's not being scrutinized so clearly, but it still looks shit. So it's like,
that truck's floating down the road. It's
it had no shadow or anything. Like, what the fuck? Come on, lads, do something better on your phone. But yeah, no, like I was caught up in it a little bit at the start because, there's an opening montage and they kind of go, crime has spiraled out of control and police are overwhelmed, and the mercy program was introduced and adopted by lawmakers, and that, like, if you commit a crime, the whole thing, it's like Minority Report, that, there's no way out of it. Like, there's access to everything, and crime drops dramatically. But they said it's been in use for 2 years, but crime dropped dramatically. But there's only been 18 people that have been in this in 2 years. That's really working really quickly, really well.
But was it just 18 people who've been executed? I thought. I don't like. I mean, did they use this mercy for everything? Do you know what I mean? Like, it says 18 people have been executed. True, because it's judge, jury, and executioner. This mercy program. So I thought they were saying
he's going to be the 19th defendant. I thought they said.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, well, I suppose doesn't actually. Yeah, she does. He is case filed at. But yeah, maybe it's just people. Is this mercy thing so scary that because it says something like 68% drop in crime? I was like, holy shit! Like, that's a lot in the space of a couple of years. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a bit strange like that. And the fact that it's kind of playing in real time, the 90 minutes is pretty cool. And he has to drop his presumed guilty rating from 90. He needs to get it down to 92% of probable guilt or whatever. And it's like, there's a nice line early on as well. It's just like, within this system, it's judge, jury, and executioner, but it's also you're presumed guilty until proven innocent. And you're like, oh, that's clever. That's kind of cool. It briefly hints at something deeper, but the film never explores it at all. Yeah. But like, let's get on to performances then. Chris Pratt, strapped to a chair. How do you think he did?
I actually did great, man. I really enjoyed him. Like, especially because he's, as the premise of the movie is, like, he's supposed to be going through the loss of his wife, and you're given an hour and a half to prove that you're not the one who fucking killed her. Yeah. So he's going through this range of absolute, oh my God, she's dead, to also, oh fuck, I have to prove my innocence, I have to save my daughter. So he's going through a different range of emotions, and I thought it was pretty good. Obviously it's obviously unrealistic, but like, I thought he was doing the best with what you can do when you are just in a chair chatting to a green screen. That's he's sitting in just a room. That's it, and obviously talking to whatever it is, a tennis ball. So like, I thought he was good. I would have liked to seen more of Annabelle Wallace. Her name, it is Annabelle Wallace, isn't it? Yeah. I think she's great. So it would have been great to see more of her. Kelly Reyes is great as well, but again, it's just such a small. It's such an awkward thing because she is barely there in an hour thing where most of her shots are all through this body cams and CCTV and whatnot, so you don't really get the proper feel for them. Maybe you feel different, or maybe your people at home feel different. But for me, I think it's kind of difficult to get across someone's performance when we're looking at what he's looking at through fucking a smartphone, you know?
Yeah, and she kind of comes across as kind of one note as well. But like, yeah, I echo that. Chris Pratt, I thought he has to do a lot, especially when it's in kind of real time, where he has to process his wife's death and then kind of, get his head around to the fact, shit, I only have 90 minutes to kind of do this. They got a lot of his character traits across very quickly. Where he's recovering alcoholic and anger management issues, tick all the boxes there, absent father, fucking shite. But then they try and build kind of a relationship ish with him and Rebecca Ferguson, which just really doesn't work, and it's completely pointless, especially in the last 30 seconds. It's just fucking abysmal. Rebecca Ferguson, she again has fucking nothing to do. Both of them are, well, at least Chris Pratt has a prop where he's sitting in a chair, obviously at a green screen, acting to nothing. And Rebecca Ferguson, same thing, she could have done it in a green screen at her home,
and like you said, because she's an AI, she pretty much has to have the same demeanor throughout the whole thing. She can do a range of emotions, really.
Yeah. She does look perfectly believable as an AI avatar. She's so symmetrical and polished and clinical delivery, and she looks clinical as well with her features. But yeah, she's got nothing to do, and her emotional kind of arc. She has moments where the AI starts glitching out, and it's just oh, come on, stop! It's fucking it's stupid. But a lot of this, this could be a movie from 1996, and nothing really changes, bar having AI fucking drones flying around the place. But yeah, supporting characters as well, they're just kind of all one note. And again, you can't really invest in them because you can't really connect to them, or because they're just talking through their phones or the found footage. And there's one shot I meant to ask you about Callie's footage, and it's like a waist shot looking up at her, like not a very aesthetically pleasing viewpoint, for angle. You're just what the fuck? But what is that? Is
I don't know. Is
happening to phone? Is she just holding her phone out?
I don't know.
All the time.
I'm not sure because she's switching between.
It's always on her at the same angle.
Yeah, I don't know why, because the same thing when he calls her, she's up on the video call, and then she's walk the scene, and then she turns the phone around. It's so is he looking through her phone? She presumably they're all wearing body cams because they are. So why doesn't the Mercy system, whatever, what's her name again, Maddox, just go through that? And so I don't know. Maybe it's her thing has fallen off and it's flapping around the place. But I don't understand what that angle was at all. I did like the quadcopter motorbike things, and I think that's actually cool. A real thing. Those jokes, they are real. They cost you £1 million or something. But I did like them, that they're fucking pretty cool, man. I always like that when you see those kind of just drone size or human sized drones that people can hover around on. I was like, oh, that'd be so handy for work. But they're pretty cool. Although we mostly get to see that through a camera that's on obviously the dashboard of her yoke. It's mostly just her face looking around. You know what I mean? You're not really getting a lot of fucking shots of the cool looking drone thing. Well, what the fuck? Where is this money gone? Yeah. Did they just buy everyone in the crew one of these things, and that's where all the money went? Sorry, we've nothing left to make the movie, but we all have cool human-sized drones now. I don't know.
It's kind of a waste, because 60 million, you could make something pretty fucking decent. Because
you could make the Bone Temple.
Exactly, yeah. And it's because I think this would be better as a smaller scale movie, the way it just kind of escalates completely out of control, which is fucking bananas. But with cinematography and visuals, I thought the green screen footage of him in the chair, obviously they're trying to make it as interesting as possible and throwing a lot of stuff, but it's absolute fucking overkill at some points. It's just screen upon screen, and fair play to Chris, where he's just, you're acting at the camera, and then you've got to just look left and imagine that's a pop-up of the screen. Oh, look right, there's a website opening and all this kind of stuff, and it's just him acting to nothing, and it's Minority Report, but dialed up to 11. It's bananas. But there's then choices later on where it's just they obviously had extra money left because they didn't spend it on fucking anything. They're going, okay, there's an explosion with fucking SWAT team in a house. So then they cut to Chris Pratt, and the AI people controlling the room have decided to put all the flaming scene around him. So he's sitting inside this burning fucking apartment, a burning building. I was like, what the fuck?
Was there any need for that? Like,
it's just just like that someone said, look, let's do that. We stick it in the fucking trailer. But then I checked the trailer. It's not in the trailer. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of sensory overload at times, with like, and all that CGI screens and stuff like that. It all looks perfectly fine, but it just kind of did my head in. More so as the movie went on. At the start, I was kind of into it because it starts very frenetic and it's really getting you up to speed, and it's setting the pace where it's like, we're going here, keep up. And it's like, I really enjoyed that. But what do you think about all that?
I think that's it.
An eyesore. Well, I was sitting too close to the screen as well.
Yeah, I think for me it can be too jarring as well. All that stuff outside the room is all through, the different found footage thing, as I said. And sometimes it's fucking jumping around. Like, I can't fucking see anything. Like, wait, just somebody stay steady so I can see what the fuck is going on. And even when he's on his phone to his daughter, for some reason, she holds she doesn't just hold the phone like this and talk to her face. She's holding it like this, you know what I mean? And looking down at her. Like, no one fucking holds their phone like that when it's video call. You're looking so they can see your face, you mad thing. But they all seem to do that. Everybody just kind of has it off to the side. And they're doing that so you can see the shit that's in the background, because it might give them a clue. Yeah. That's why the director decided it. But that's not how people fucking use video time or video calls. Just thought that was mad.
Yeah.
And I thought it
was
as well as that, because the crime is so down in general. We're saying that basically the person that's in this chair, they have access to all these resources. So he's basically controlling all the cops in the city. Like, they're taking their orders from him. It was like, for what if something actually is, if it turns out he is the killer and there's actually something serious going on elsewhere, and you're there going, no, you go that way, send the truck there, blow that thing up, fucking helicopters this way. Like, how is he in charge of that then?
Yeah. There's at one point, like, he's conducting a SWAT team on what to do, and he says, no, that's the house, let's get in there as fast as possible. So they smash the fucking door down, weapons ready to fucking blow the shit out of this place and kill whoever's in it. Just like,
meanwhile, he's strapped to a chair because he's up for murder.
He's about to die because he murdered his wife. I found that fucking bananas. And then I was just like, is that just because he's a LAPD previous officer like that? But he's still 98% rated as the killer of his wife. I mean, it's like, so yeah, what if it's just some Joe Soap sitting in the chair? Does he still have access to all this fucking stuff? And he can just really start thinking about it. Nuke them all. Nuke them all. I fucking hate this city. But there's so much where it's just like, you just dig into the weeds a tiny bit. It's not even 3 layers deep. You just have a little kind of look under the covers of this, and it just starts to fall apart completely. But
would it surprise you to know how much like pre-production or post-production was on this? Because this movie finished filming in April 2024. So for nearly 2 years ago, it wrapped filming. And so they've had a long time to work on this. Now, I don't know whether it was completely finished and then they just decided, okay, we'll hold off and release it in January. I don't know. But they've had a long time. So I don't know what's happened in the middle of those 2 years.
Because like you can see from a filmmaking point of view that, like, putting this all together, I know it's such a simple premise, and straight away when I was thinking of this and saw the trailer and when I sat down to watch it, it just gave me haunting flashbacks of War of the Worlds last year with Ice Cube strapped to it. You're sitting in a chair and just like one of the worst movies ever made. But this is just because it's cutting to other body cam footage and all this kind of stuff, which they've gone out and filmed, so it must be tricky enough production wise and in an edit. I mean, it must be tricky enough putting all that together with 2 years. I don't fucking think so. But in terms of like the script, get into the fucking, oh no, little note on the score. I can't remember any score at all, bar kind of action movie template 3 sound effect or whatever. I
actually quite like the score, and I was thinking during it, I was like, why am I enjoying this? And it's because there's a tune that they use a couple of times through it, and it's got this real, it's like a real deep horn, like, and I was like, what? God? And I kept wondering why I was like drawn into it, and then I remembered it's so similar to a movie that I love that a lot of people maybe don't, but Annihilation. I give that's a masterpiece. I love that movie, and it's so similar to when she's down with Janet Jason Lee or Janet Jason Lee, you know what I'm talking about, when they're down that part, and it's to the score that's swelling. Then it sounds a little bit similar to that, and that's why I think, because afterwards I was like you, I was like, it's pretty sure it's like you said, action score, number one, blah blah blah, but it's just that one tune, and then I was like, I fucking remember why exactly that is. So it's some transference from a better movie made me think the score was better than it was.
Yeah, I can't remember that at all. I don't know why I can't remember anything. But yeah, getting onto the script, like there's so many moments when it started to unravel where he's got access to all these cameras and stuff, and this is all in the trailer where he finds out his wife has been seeing somebody else. She had a burner phone. Why'd she have a burner phone? She had seen somebody else because he wasn't present. And then it's like, suddenly it just kind of ramps up to, there's some missing chemicals in her work. And you're like, okay, here we go. And then it's like, maybe if you put all the chemicals together, you can make amphetamines. And it's like, we're going down that route. But then it turns into, no, there's a bomb in a truck. It's like, what the fuck? And the truck's going to nuke the Mercy building because someone had a plan in the making for 2 fucking years. And you're like, what? What is fucking happening?
Are we keeping this, like, we're not going to bother, but spoiler free, right? Because I'm not going to give away a name or anything. But
no.
You're like,
your man's full tilt. Yeah.
Your man's done this whole plan, right? His plan, the guy who's planned this, he was hiding in that basement for 2 days. What? How did nobody know he was down there? Like, did someone go, "Someone smell of piss?" Or shit? Like, you imagine being down there for 2 days, like in this person's basement, and no one had any fucking idea. And to put the whole thing together, and so it's such a stupid plan to frame him.
Bad.
How could you possibly know that he would come back?
That was going to happen,
and exactly, and that there would be cameras in everybody else's house apart from his, and that exactly that they'd be able to come in at this exact time. What if he didn't? What if he didn't come storming back to the house and they had nothing show him there?
Right there for days.
Yeah, exactly. What if it's that thing, and then eventually they can't find him until suddenly there's a decaying smell of dead body a couple of weeks later.
He died down there.
Has gone to shit because he fucking starved and dehydrated down in this person's basement. Just, it's such. What if someone called him? Like, he's his sponsor. What if he'd called him at any point in those 2 days, and he just hears whispering from downstairs, like.
And the main thing about the fact that this for anyone who's not going to watch the movie, this, like, the killer hides in the basement of his house to murder his wife. But it's all centered around a barbecue, and it's just like, everyone went to the barbecue, everyone left the barbecue, and then there's one moment when they have all this access to everything, and Chris says, check the feed of my neighbor. His garden is linked, it touches mine. He has a bird fucking house or something, and he knows there's a camera in the bird house. And she goes to log into things. She's like, I can't at the moment because something's uploading or buffering. It's like, you can tap into satellites, you can't tap into this little fucking bird camera that's on a little local Wi-Fi
because they need
encryption.
Because they need to have it there in the background so we can wait to find out. And they do it as well. They do it again later on. They have another one where she's like, the so and so was down that day, so I have to give me a minute or two to access it. So it's in the background, ready to pop up and give us the answer that we know. It's coming. It's so silly.
But the fact that, like, when he's in the basement and that Chris Pratt comes back, and that's the bit that kind of works in the initial premise, where you see him coming back, and he gets so angry, and his wife won't let him in, and he smashes the doorbell and goes in. And when he leaves, then the daughter comes back 30 seconds later and screams, and the wife's dead, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ. But the fact that when he finds out that the basement door had been open because he sees his daughter's video or something, he's like, look, that the door is open in the back, and he's just like, we never used that basement. She's like, the killer must have known that as well, to hide there where they never used the fucking basement. It's just, there's so many
and not just that,
contrivances.
This crime scene has been worked, so the house has been worked, so they know. The cameras and the stuff they have to replay stuff is obviously incredible, and so it's accessed all these videos before already. But it wasn't until he said, "Can you lighten up that bit there?" And then we lighten up, but we can see there's a hand. reaching for the door. It took him to say it to this fucking master computer that there might have been a guy hiding in the basement the last couple of days.
And yeah, when he sees that footage and you can see it's a hand, and he says, "What's my probability now?" And Rebecca Ferguson says, "It's still at 98%. She says, "What?" And she says, "That could just be a blob or something."
It could be a shadow. She says,
"It's
a
hand. You can see it's a hand. You're an AI." Like, it's just like, oh, and then she starts to kind of glitch out and go, It's absolute fucking nonsense. But there's one other bit that I thought is just the convenience of everything, where they're going through this person which they think is the bad guy through his house, and he's like tapping into the body cam footage, or the AI is, and Chris is looking at all the footage, and he goes, one of the body cam footage guys is just like, "Yeah, the place is a mess," and he just picks up one picture and goes, "Yeah, it's a mess like this," and he goes, "Hold on, freeze it." So one cop just happened to lift up a picture frame. That's the key to everything. "Hold on, zoom in on a picture. Oh my God, it's this guy. He's got a brother." And you're just like, oh, for the love of fucking Christ. Like, it's it's astonishing. But the fact that it kind of ramps up so much so quickly to, like, you know, there being a bomb on the fucking truck, and then daughter kidnapped, and that's going to go, and he's going to destroy the Mercy building. And like they say, it's going to destroy a 1 mile radius, the bomb that he has on the fucking thing. But he gets to within 1 or 2 blocks, and they kind of like keep him away from the building. It's just like, yeah, but he's right there. He could just blow it at any time and just wipe out the city. That was his plan. But
it's a shit.
Yeah, it's just an awful plan, a 2-year fucking plan. Like, that he's so annoyed at Chris that he's going to murder his wife and try and frame him for this. But for 2 years, he's like his sponsor and his best friend, and a really nice guy that, like, it's just fucking absolute nonsense. So yeah, do you want to give it a star rating then before we do a few little spoilers?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you've just spoiled the main part there. Anyway, so I don't really think there's any point in having a spoiler section really at this point.
No.
But I think star rating, I'm going to give it 2 stars, maybe 2.5. No.
Ooh.
2. I'm going to go 2. Yeah, like and that's mainly because, like I said, I think Chris Pratt did a good job. I like the premise of it. I think it's cool. It's just like you said, Daz, should have kept it more contained. Have it, kind of taking place in maybe 2 locations or something along those lines. But the fact that it's jumping all over the place ramps up to going right out into the miles out into the outside world, and I think that's where it kind of loses it. And yeah, I think 2 is fair. Like, it's definitely, I didn't find it to be a 1 star. Like, it wasn't completely unwatchable or anything. Like, so yeah, I think 2 is fair. What about yourself?
Yeah, I got 2 stars as well. Interesting premise that kind of shits the bed, but it's an entertaining watch, and I did laugh out loud at very unintentionally hilarious bits, and that was kind of fun. It's a streaming movie. It should be a Netflix movie. I kind of was a little bit embarrassed that I was sitting in a cinema on a Friday night on my own watching this. I actually drove 30 minutes to watch this in a cinema. Yeah, high concept that's not as smart as it thinks it is. But Chris Pratt, yeah, he's a very watchable guy, even in a chair. So yeah, that's an end to this week's movie review. We were going to do No Other Choice this week, but it wasn't playing on screens where Phil was.
Yeah, because
which is in outer space.
Yeah, because apparently in the north side of the city, we don't know how to read. So they went, now subtitle movies.
No, so
forget that. It's mad. Like, it was literally just looking. It's like, why is it all the ones on my side of the city, whereas on the south side there's a bunch of them showing it? Like, fuck you.
So yeah. We'll be back next week with another movie. We don't know what it is yet. But yeah, in the meantime, like, subscribe, share, tick all the boxes, helps the algorithm and everything. And stay classy. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.